The San Francisco Examiner says a retirement crisis looms for boomers and Generation X. What are they going to do? What am I? I'm a Generation X. Retirement crisis looms for boomers too. Dateline, 20 September 1994. So I want to share with you an article I read today, this morning, and I did a blog post, which I sent to my email newsletter subscribers, and this is when I post up my website too. The retirement crisis is just manufactured BS to expand government. And like I said, I've been reading about retirement crisis for a long time. I've been in the business since '97. I studied economics, where it was with a focus somewhat on finance back through '93, '4, '5, and whatnot. I was a 5-year plan at old George Mason, by the way, because I was working. Worked at a bar at night, cleaned carpets sometime during the day, in the morning, and I also put up these real estate signs as well. In the cloud of darkness, actually, I think I did that after I quit the bar. I can't remember, but anyway, we'd put up these real estate signs like Lennox Homes that way in Fairfax County in Arlington. But anyway, I had many a job. Let's just put it this way, and I was still in the National Guard. So I was a 5-year plan. And thank you, taxpayer, because you helped support that. But anyway, I just find this funny that I have a subscription, newspapers.com, and let's see if I'm logged in here. Let's go to... Yeah, I'm logged in. So let's go to search, and we're going to type in retirement crisis. And we go like this, retirement crisis. And we're going to hit enter. I pay I think $75 for 6 months. I love newspapers.com. It's fun. Now, look, you notice up here, not much. And all of a sudden we had something right there. What was that about? So what was that year right there? Let's take a look at what that one was. And that was... let's go by, what if we can do it by date? Let's do by date, oldest first. See what the retirement crisis oldest. The Morning Post, and we want retirement crisis. So they're saying retirement, and we're going to, I don't want 1800s. I want to go to, right? Let's see, let's do that, update. 1987. The Des Moines Register, we got retirement, Des Moines Register. Let's see what this says. It doesn't say retirement crisis, it just says retirement. Ooh, El Paso, 1987 is El Paso Times. I see something that says retirement crisis. Let's take a gander, shall we? This is 1987. All right, let's see what this guy says. I can make this a little bit lower. U.S. diocese slowly respond to retirement. Well, that's for Catholic Church. Okay, that's a little bit different because there is a crisis in the Catholic Church for sure. It's been like that for a long time. Just not enough priests coming out of the thing. Here's Catholic Advance. Yep. All right, so we'll keep going down. Air Force retirement crisis. All right, it's 1987. It's Felician. All right, that's all Catholic stuff. So let's make this go to 1988. Let's see. There we go. 1989. Let's see what we got. Ooh, retirement crisis. There we go. Ooh, here we go. Philadelphia Choir, right? They're legit, no? And I have a feeling the funny thing is when you do this, Star Phoenix. Let's do the Tampa Tribune and see what they say. And what is this? Our recovery is underway. Let's see here. It's about churches. Okay. All right. That wasn't a retirement crisis other than for Catholic churches. Third world families. People, not buildings. That's more looks like about the Catholic Church. Yeah, collection underway. Oh, but wait, 2020 become deafening. Let's see what this is. Baby boom. This is something from ooh, here we go. Here we go. Onus is on each individual to secure financially secure retirement. Yep. 60% of working Canadians have no employer-sponsored plans. This is Dateline 1989 in the Star Phoenix, Saskatoon. 60% of Canadians have no employer-sponsored plans, and that was the crisis. So here we go. Getting started early in the, RSVP is the key to financial security for baby boomers. Now, as they begin to enter middle age, boomers have time to prepare for the retirement income crisis of 2020. So there's retirement. And here we go. So this guy who wrote this, past president of the Saskatchewan chapter of Canadian Association of Financial Planners. Retirement income crisis of 2020. Isn't that interesting? 60% of Canadians have no employer-sponsored plans. Again, the industry, my industry, is leading the way on the crisis. All right, let's keep reading here. Isn't that interesting? 2020 is literally 4 months away. Where's the crisis? I don't know. My God, what are we going to do? Let's see what else we got. Third world. So we got a lot of the same articles here that are just regurgitated. That's the thing with the media, is that they regurgitate literally the same articles. It's nuts. NASA hopes computer avert retirement crisis. Let's see what this one. Honolulu plan how to avoid retirement crisis. Let's see what this is. This is a Hazeltown. Let's see what this here is. And this, your plan to avoid impending retirement crisis from the Los Angeles Times Syndicate, 1989, Sylvia Porter. It's grim news, but our nation faces a retirement healthcare crisis. As our population ages, illnesses will increase, overwhelming Social Security and other retirement systems. 1 in 3 Americans will suffer cancer in the lifetime of living Americans. Meanwhile, court rulings are lessening the effectiveness of many healthcare. Underlying problems that our general population get older, the giant lump demographically. But okay, let's see. Bethlehem still laying off people. Companies are calling for change of tax law to help make an advantageous to prepay employer retirement health care plans. It's we've been having these crises all over the course since, basically for the last 40 years. I just want to see, let's see, retirement crisis. Retirement nuns facing crisis. Everybody's facing a crisis. For Southern Illinoisian Business Owners Workshop, retirement crisis. All right. Ooh, retirement funding. Let's see what this is. All right. This is South Carolina. Study, state facing retirement funding crisis. There we go. Tax hikes to potentially solve the solution. And you like, this is just fun doing this. Why is there retirement? Ooh, let's see. This is about women in retirement crisis here. This is the Tucson. Women need to build retirement resources. Why is retirement a crisis for most women? All right. All right. Anyway, if you get a subscription, newspapers.com for like $75 for 6 months, you can go back and read all this stuff. It's fun, man. It's fun to see what they're saying back then, and all of a sudden say, not so big deal. Ooh, right here, Land of Constitution. Let's see what they say. Retirement crisis looming. Here we go. This is Gertha Coffee. Here are tips of selecting the 401k that best suit you plan, because with savings rates down, this is Dateline, what was this? 1992, right before the Clinster won election here. With savings rate down, the future of Social Security in question, traditional pension plans going the way of the 8-track tape. Experts say there's a retirement crisis looming in America. But they add more and more employers are gaining a viable option through 401k. Okay, so let's just keep going back, and you can see all that. So I picked this up from 1994, Retirement Crisis Looms for Boomers and Generation X. And there's another article from Los Angeles Times, had a lady who said there isn't any crisis, stop scaring people, from around the same time, which I greatly appreciated. But the never-ending retirement crisis. The above headline is from 1994. And if you have a subscription, actually, you want to see some fun. We can go to... watch this. You want to see some fun here? Just while I'm yapping here. All right, we're going to go to Arctic melt. Arctic melting. It's fun. And it's not Arctic melting. It's, oops. What was it? It was ice caps melting, I think is what it is. I typed something. Oh, we got to go here. Watch this. It's polar ice melt. I can't remember. Polar ice caps melting, something like that. It's fun. You go back, see all this stuff from 1930s. Ice caps melting. I don't know if that's gonna have anything. Yeah, ice caps are melting. Here's from 1895. Cherokee Champion. Let's see what the old Cherokee Champion says, shall we? All right. This is from 1895. Lakes are likewise scarce upon the surface of Mars, except at times when the polar ice caps are melting. That's in Mars, okay. Yeah, man, I could get caught. I could be lost in all this. Fun, man, to look at this stuff. So you can see that they're writing all the same stuff here. But that was back in 1800s. They wouldn't still share the same stuff now, would they? Of course they do, my friends. Let's see. We got ice caps. Let's see what this is. In the spring, when the ice caps are melting, is a torrent, a dodging death in the path of an onrushing flood. All right. Yeah, we could read all this stuff. It's just fun to read all this about the Arctic ice sheets, ice caps, global warming. It's actually fun to read. Actually, let's do one other thing. Let's do global cooling, and this will be fun. Then we'll go back to my global cooling. Ooh, global warming, before global cooling. I can't read all that says. Develop a global air, but this is from 1957. Global cooling. All right, it's just, you can read all this. It's fun. Oh, right here. Let's see. This is from May drought blamed for low water supply. It doesn't say much there. All right, it's just fun to do all this. We can read this. So let me go back, and you should get a subscription to newspapers.com. If you're like me, you'll get lost in this. So you can read old sports pages. Freaking Sandy Koufax, the Bobby Orr, Sonny Jurgensen. It's just freaking Earl Campbell. Oh man, it's awesome. All right, so here we go. Yet, according to research, and I list a bunch of places, the vast majority of retirees are doing just fine. In fact, I invite you to conduct your own research. You just simply ask people, how are you doing in retirement? So the crisis discussed 25 years ago, i.e. here, retirement crisis looms for boomers and Generation X, hasn't matriculated because the vast majority of retirees are said they're satisfied in retirement. And yet, here we are again. Americans can't afford retirement. Here are 8 ways to fix it. There's no single solution to the retirement crisis, but several changes could help. Many will require businesses to act. Who exactly are these Americans who can't afford retirement? All this reminds me part and parcel of the climate change crisis. The scaremongering of CO2 is nothing more than an attempt to get the government more involved in the day-to-day affairs of your life. In fact, AOC's chief of staff admitted such a thing. You can read the link here if you want, which is one of the reasons I actually like AOC, because she's upfront with her socialistic programs, whereas the other Democrats, like, they're socialists, but we don't want to confiscate your guns, Beto. We don't want to get you out of your cars and airplanes, AOC, but they do. And as with the climate change crisis, the retirement crisis never goes away, nor does the racism crisis. All the crises that are out there, they're always there because there's big money in these crises. The advocates just keep moving the goalposts whenever their previous predictions do not come to fruition. The irony of all ironies is the lady who wrote the above article about the retirement crisis, Americans can't afford retirement, even though factually Americans can afford retirement, so she's inherently wrong there. She also happens to be a writer who focuses on solutions to some of the world's largest problems, from climate change to homelessness. In fact, she even states that climate change is introducing new risks. In many areas, there's a greater chance that a flood or a wildfire might force someone to suddenly move. Something not true. Now, literally building in areas that are prone to floods and wildfires, yes, because there were no homes there in the 1950s. But the actual amount of floods and wildfires, that's simply fake news. The economic impact of climate chaos could also tank investments. That's silly. So what exactly are the solutions to the retirement crisis? Well, similar to the climate change crisis, it's more government. A government-mandated retirement plan, she says. Huh? Every time I see my paycheck, I pay 6.2% to this thing called Social Security. And now that I'm self-employed, it's 12.4%. Where is that money going? Oh, yeah, it's going to our government-mandated health retirement plan called Social Security. But apparently one government program is enough, so now we need another one. Yeah, no thanks. State-backed IRAs. We just talked about this the other day in California. Last year, Oregon did the same. In Oregon, a program that started in 2017 is now phasing in every employer in the state. Eventually, all businesses will have to either offer a standard retirement plan or sign up for the program called the Oregon Saves. That's what California's modeled on, guaranteed. I wonder who the director of Oregon Saves is. Actually, let's take a look and find out, shall we? So here's the board of directors. I can't tell who the executive person is, but here, look, very diverse, huh? Whitey's all over the place, but you can't say that about Oregon. Portland is the whitest city in America, by the way. It's just funny how liberal it is, huh? And that's Crazy. Anyway, so it's a legislative enacted, and the governor appoints all the board members. So we got the state treasurer, he's probably an elected guy, and then we got a secretary of the UFCW Union, United Food and Commercial Workers. He's on the board. We got Kara Backus, who's an employee benefits attorney. We got Mr. Brewington, who's a volunteer at AARP, who's a senior executive for IBM and senior vice president of KinderCare. I mean, all these guys are just, it's all, like I said, it's all a big party. And then we got another guy, Miss Streisinger, who's director of Oregon Department of Consumer Business. I mean, all these, it's a big party, my friends, and you ain't invited. That's all there is to it. I don't trust these guys as far as I could kick them. And frankly, the same thing for Republican governors. They're going to appoint their own. It's all one big party. I mean, let's just know that. And they're all scratches of the back. But anyway, let me read this again. Eventually, all business will have to enroll. And if they don't, does the owner go to jail? What happens? It all starts with a small and innocent enough, but because government never works, it will always require more and more compliance, which means more and more penalties if you don't comply, and thus less freedom. But hey, whatever, as long as the retirement crisis is solved, right? And you know it won't be solved. I mean, that's the point. Expand Social Security is what this lady says we should do. So we do actually have another government-mandated retirement program. But apparently it's not doing enough because we need another. So not only do we need another one, we need to expand the one we currently have. It'll work better this time. Promise. Why? Because socialism is always judged on the promises, never on the results. Capitalism is judged on the results, not the promises. And when they make the promise on the socialistic side, that's just good enough. Who are we to challenge them? They want to do well. She says expand Medicaid and Medicare. Even better, because while there are definite crises in retirement due to people not saving enough, Medicare and Medicaid can come to financial rescue for health care. After all, they're on good financial footing, are they not? Solid financial ground? No. And with expanded Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security, we won't need to tax anyone and pay for this. It just falls from the sky. So employees will still have the same amount of money to put away towards their retirement that they currently have, but they're not doing it as it is now. And that's the retirement crisis because employees aren't saving enough according to the good folks who care for you. Just want to make sure you're okay in retirement. So we're going to expand Medicaid, expand Medicare, expand Social Security. We're not going to tax you more. And you're not even putting enough money as it is, as you're not being taxed more to have all these government services expanded. So where does the money come from? Oh, yeah, we're going to tax the rich people. The guy, don't tax you, don't tax me, tax that guy behind the tree. Yeah, that guy behind the tree is only so many of him. Yeah, good luck taxing him to have all these expansions that are going to be fair. The whole thing is just, it's silly, man. It's silly. We're going to expand all this, which means you inherently have less income. With you have less income, you have less money to contribute to stupid programs like Oregon Saves. But again, socialism, baby, it's just the promises. We promise you. But the reality is you don't deliver. It doesn't matter. We promise. Build affordable housing, says his author. Now, this is funny, as California is mandating photovoltaic panels on every new home. There are restrictions up to wazoo for how you can, where and when you can build. Can't build next to that pool of mosquito-infested water in your backyard either because it's a wetland. On top of that, we're going to have more rent control. And then we'll tell everybody we need more affordable housing. Yeah, we're living in fantasy world here. Must be nice. I don't live in a fantasy world. It only gets worse from there. Folks, relying on kids in the media as your source of information for pretty much anything nowadays is bordering on masochism. They do not have your best interests at heart. They're ideologues weaned on leftist propaganda who take their marching orders from think tankers such as Teresa Ghilarducci, who is an economics professor who leads a retirement equity lab at the New School. Anytime it says the New School, just run for the hills. It's all Marxist crap. You'll find old Teresa anywhere and everywhere there's a crisis talking about the need for more government intervention in your lives. The first thing one may want to ask is, what if there is no crisis? What do these folks do like Ghilarducci who've made a career around said crisis? Of course, I'd ask the same thing of the climate change doomsayers too, Michael Mann and whatnot. What if there's no crisis there either? What do these people then do for work? Go to electrician school? It's a very, very lucrative job promoting a crisis. And even better if you're a big government proponent, because not only can you get rich, but you can also get expanded government too. It's a win-win. And on a side note, someone's actually got to run these bureaucracies, like old Katie Helinski run the California Save program. So now she gets a bigger government, She's going to get more and more wealthy because she's now sitting on the Aspen Institute board of directors. And on top of that, she's running the government bureaucratic stuff. Government expands, she gets wealthy, and her fiefdom will go even bigger because she'll say, ooh, you served on the California Savers. We want you to be our spokesperson at $15,000 a pop. That's crazy. I think I need a crisis to promote. What should I promote? All right, we'll see you next time.